Welcome everybody to Rad Pod and Chill. Thank you so much for sticking around and giving us an extra couple of minutes. It might surprise you guys to know that Rad Pod has some technical difficulties because that never happens.
What?
Anyway, we're so happy that you're here.
Not funny.
I know, it's funny. It's funny.
Boomer!
Okay, so my name is Heidi Kuda, and I'm here with my friends Jim Stewartson and High Fidelity. We are an investigative show about disinformation on Thursday nights. However, we're just a quasi-salacious show where we recap our previous episode. We talk about some newsbreakers. We like to have some lulls, and we also like to break down some, information in our very unique style. I'm going to start by telling you that.
It doesn't sound very unique when we call it unique.
Oh, we are
Okay,
very.
well then I will beatbox and we will.
Okay,
Please,
We're gonna put it down.
please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Um, okay, that makes it
it's
so
not
unique.
unique either. That's just,
We're so not.
you're
How
trying-
many big? How many
you're trying to
beatboxing
murder our
shows are
audience
there?
with cringe, and I don't think you should do that.
Yes.
Okay, so
Make the audience cringe.
So I used to say that we are the most dangerous show in America, and Jim used to always just be like in agony when I said that, but I believed it then and I believe it now, and it's because we are so wildly independent. All of us have our unique skill sets. We like to bring it every week, and I don't think we disappointed this week when we had our friend Pekka from Vatnik Soup on. He has an incredible website, vatniksoup.com. Go check out your favorite Russian propagandists. We'll all be there. And the fascinating thing, gentlemen, for me about Pekka's research, which is impeccable, as we like to say, it is
You're trying to kill me with cringe.
okay. I'm gonna try to like rein in the dad jokes here, but no. Let me just say, when you go to vatniksoup.com, and we encourage you to do that, we encourage you to first please do listen to our interview with him. It's the top of our feed on our YouTube channel. You will see, look at that, journalist, politician, journalist, political analyst, TV presenter, journalist, streamer, journalist, politician. I mean, right after the other. And these are all in different countries, many of them in America. Many of them you will recognize because they appear in Congress. They are political, operatives, candidates.
Presidential candidates.
Very fascinating. But what's so incredible is that Pekka wanted to do something very useful for the Ukrainian people from his home country of Finland. He knew that he couldn't go to Ukraine at the time, so he launched these threads, these Vatnik Soup threads, and many of the people that we investigate and we expose on our show for being Russian propagandists are on Pekka's threads as well as that website. He's going to do about another 24 more before he takes his work to YouTube and launches a YouTube show. So there's going to be about 200 Vatniks. But it's just wonderful. And so we have some clips that we're going to share with you guys from that particular interview. And then also, I think we might do a little tease for our friend John.
We're going to close on that.
Okay, so just FYI, the Byline crew that I work with produced a documentary with John Sweeney and Zarina Zabriskie from Ukraine about the war. We're going to show a trailer, and just a little heads up, Zarina is going to be coming to LA, staying with me. We're going to do a screening of the film that will also double as a fundraiser for the Ukrainian people. And we're just in the middle of getting that all started. But when we do, we'll let y'all know about it, because if you are in the Los Angeles area, we encourage you to come and meet a real metal war correspondent, our good friend Zarina. So that's some of my breaking news. What's going on?
You say LA.
What's what?
LA.
What's what?
You said LA.
Yeah, what
the Los Angeles area.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
Oh, yeah. You're going to get an invite. You didn't get invite, Jim. Yeah,
Oh, better.
all our friends. Yeah, I'm really excited. Yeah, so much going on, so many things that I want to talk to you guys about, but I would sort of like Jim to kick us off because you've been doing a lot of work where you've been repurposing some of your threads from a few years ago, warning about the insurrection on the lead up to it, but also who all these players were. And when I saw one of your posts today, dating back to Hillary Clinton and the faked up scandal around her, one of the many ones, it just hit me that, and this is obviously stuff that we know when we talk about, but I think sometimes it's really important to go right to the high concept heart of all of this. Vladimir Putin did not want Hillary Clinton to be president. She had his number down. She publicly asked for an investigation of his faked up election in 2011. And there was a line drawn in the sand, and he viewed her as a mortal enemy. So much of what we've been enduring as a country and are still enduring is the fact that he did not want her to be president. And all these Vatniks started doing Russian propaganda, some of them already having been doing Russian propaganda, to obfuscate and to give us a president who to Putin is just another Yanukovych, right? That's what we're enduring right now.
Well, yes. Let me put a little more fine of a point on it, if I might. In 2013, Mike Flynn started doing shit for Vladimir Putin. He went to GRU headquarters. For the first time, an American went to GRU headquarters in Moscow. Mike Flynn went there for a leadership seminar and disappeared for 4 fucking days. What do you think happened to Mike Flynn during those 4 days? I'm sure it was a cordial passing of information at the most diplomatic levels of, I mean, come fucking on. So the same week as he's at GRU headquarters, Edward Snowden is taking secrets from his fucking server, right? So also he lets Putin basically walk into Crimea with GRU soldiers, Spetsnaz soldiers, right? And then he gets fired. So to Heidi's point, Putin sees Hillary coming. Oh shit. What are we going to do about Hillary? Okay, well, we need a puppet to say all kinds of horrible shit about Hillary. Probably isn't going to win, but, whatever. We need somebody to scream, "Crooked Hillary," and lock her up. And who's going to be willing to do that? Oh, right. We have that fake billionaire Russian mafia lieutenant dipshit in New York who has been toying around with running with Roger Stone for like 40 fucking years. Why don't we pull that guy out of the goddamn sewer and put him up there? Okay, but in order to sell this guy, in order to sell this slimy, has-been, dirty Russian shitwit, they need to do what? Psyop people. They need to brainwash people to believe this motherfucker, because otherwise, who is going to believe Donald Trump? So Putin needs a whole bunch of people to love this weird fake billionaire instead of the most qualified person to ever fucking run for president. Not just people on the right, but people on the left. He needs to swing people. He needs to divide the left. He needs to have somebody to take away from Hillary Clinton and bash the shit out of her, right? So who does Putin call? Putin calls the guy who let his boys into Crimea. Putin calls the guy who's been trying to set up nuclear deals with Saudi Arabia and Russia all through 2015. Putin calls Mike motherfucking Flynn. And they sit down together again in Moscow with Jill fucking Stein.
So
And what do they do? They figure out psyops to take away from Hillary Clinton on the left,
yeah.
and to push them towards Donald Trump on the right, because they needed people to pay attention to this fucking asshat who was saying the worst possible things, right? So that is why we have Mike Flynn running PSYOPs in 2016. That's why it was Donald Trump. Here's the thing. I don't think anybody expected Donald Trump to win. I really don't. I think it was all meant to just detract. I think the fact that she won is the reason why Mike Flynn is so mad at me. Because he knows that that whole thing is going to crumble down as all of this shit comes out. And the last several days, and we'll get into it later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing, because all the stuff I've been saying on this show, or I've been tweeting about, and fucking all of it, is just like, okay, this part is coming true, and that part, and that part, and that part,
Yeah,
right in front of us.
yeah.
And just coming more and more true.
So
Thank you for coming to my first.
thank you for your first TED Talk, your first Gym Talk. I enjoyed it very much. I want to say that in 2011, Hillary Clinton called for a full investigation of the irregularities in the elections to elect Vladimir Putin. So she says we have very serious concerns. The Russian people deserve better. There needs to be an investigation. And so Putin starts blaming her in his spy, psyop-y way for the greatest uprising and marches and protests that Russia had seen during that period of time. People were rebelling against what they felt was an inauthentic vote. And of course, you had Boris Nemtsov, leading the charge, who was the great opposition leader. Yeah. And so what's fascinating, and we may have this clip from Pekka, is that this particular retired general you were just referring to goes to break bread with Putin and sit beside him after these things happened, after the invasion of Crimea, after poisonings are occurring, and it's quite obvious. So that was very curious. Why go, dance with a dictator when you actually have all of these egregious human rights violations occurring? That is, that's weird. So
It's more than weird.
And I want to thank you, because you are among the people who are actually pointing out Lieutenant General Mike Flynn as you talk about Vatnik soup. And how did he come on your radar?
I think it was through when I was looking into the gray zone. So this infamous 2015 dinner, which was attended by several people from the United States, including Michael Flynn and Jill Stein, for example. So it was kind of suspicious to see influential American people dining with Vladimir Putin after the annexation of Crimea, after the Skripal poisoning, after all this. So it was like unbelievable. How is this happening? So I started digging deeper, and there's a lot of interesting stuff. I mean, I think we can all agree that Mike Flynn is a very interesting character in a sense, like he's in these Russian networks, but also in Turkey and in many areas there.
Turkey. Let's talk about Turkey. What happened in Turkey?
Speaking of Turkey,
right?
Let's talk Turkey.
A lot of things. So Bijan Kian was connected to Erdogan and the Turkish government. Bijan Kian was an employee of Mike Flynn's intel group.
Yeah.
Bijan Kian got blamed for a whole bunch of shit during the 2016 election, and Bijan's like, wait, I was Mike Flynn's company. I want a new trial. And today they were like, okay, we're going to give you a new trial, Mr. Bijan. His full name is Ravikian, but he goes by Bijan Kian very often. And Bijan Kian, I'm pretty sure, is not a big fan of Mike Flynn at this point, because Mike Flynn, during his cooperation agreement with the DOJ, basically tried to blame a whole bunch of the bullshit on Bijan Kian. And nope, let me be very clear about something. Bijan Kian was in the room when Mike Flynn paid ex-FBI agent Brian McCauley $28,000 to make up the story about Hillary's laptop, which cost her the election. Because James Comey and the New York FBI, which included indicted Kremlin asset Charles McGonigal,
Yeah.
sold that, or Comey was ready for that story to make a fucking announcement 11 days before the election in the what can only be considered an October surprise delivered by our fucking FBI director. That was all generated from $28,000 in Turkish money, and Bijan Kian was there. So Mike Flynn, tuck her up, buddy. You got there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that this crew of asshats has to worry about recently. That's just one of them.
So, full disclosure to anybody just tuning in, Mike Flynn has sued Jim Stewartson, my podcast partner, who puts all these pieces together, for defamation in the state of Florida. And we're going to fight that. But I bring that up because today was not a good day if you're a Vatnik. Today was like a bad day for the Vatniks, Jim. You were on fire, man. What the hell? Give us some of the lowlights or the highlights or the low highlights, you know?
Okay, so Erik Prince got indicted.
Yeah.
Not in the United motherfucking States, where he's been committing crimes for decades, but in Austria. But bless the Austrians, who figured it out apparently before our Justice Department did, that Erik Prince was breaking arms embargoes in Libya. Now, that's really interesting. Let me tell you briefly. In Libya, Erik Prince was pumping up this warlord, Khalifa, that he was trying to get to take over the place so he could basically have the country more or less and all of its minerals and shit to himself. So he was running all that stuff with this warlord, and that's what he got pinched for breaking arms embargoes and doing all kinds of sketchy shit. Now, the funny thing is that Libyan warlord, let me repeat again, Libyan warlord is being represented by Mr. Jesse Banal.
Yeah, it's weird.
Who is suing me for Mike Flynn. So, as a good friend of mine says, judge me by my fucking enemies.
Yeah.
One other thing. So
Yeah.
since we're talking about Jesse Banal, who's suing me on behalf of Mike Flynn, he came up again today.
No.
Again.
No.
In a very funny way. So, Mr. Kash Patel used to be a Devin Nunes staffer.
Yes.
Famously got classified information from Ezra Cohen Vatnik in the Midnight Ride to give information to Devin Nunes to cover up for Mike Flynn's contacts with the Russians.
Wow, this is some OG shit. Some
This
OG
OG
history.
as fuck.
This is OG shit.
Cash Patel has been running ops for Devin Nunes and Mike Flynn since 2016. He is Kremlin as fuck. Also Rudy Giuliani.
Oh.
So, of course, right? So Cash Patel gets caught live, red-handed on TV,
Dun, dun, dun.
aiding two chuds to lie to Jim Jordan's weaponization committee. One of those fucking chuds, Mr. O'Doyle, is represented by a lawyer. Guess which one? The same motherfucker who represents Libyan Erik Prince warlord Khalifa and the dude who got paid by Cash Patel to lie to Congress.
If I didn't know this was true, I would think that you're making this up because it sounds
This
too
is some
insane.
GPT. This is
sounds
some Chat
too
GPT AI bullshit right here. What the fuck?
Sounds
It gets
insane.
even crazier, but whatever. We'll stop.
No, it gets even stupider. Is that
yeah.
what this is?
It keeps getting stupider and stupider and stupider.
Well,
I mean,
so
just one random last stupid thing that I'll
Yeah.
land the plane.
yeah.
A couple months ago, there was the Miles Guo got rung up
Yeah.
for committing billions of dollars in fraud.
Yeah.
Now, Miles Guo is Steve Bannon's big sugar daddy funder.
Yeah.
So when he got indicted or whatever, the FBI raided his place. Where did he live? In New York. So which FBI raided his place? The New York FBI. Now, we know about the New York FBI and their sketchy past. Now let's see about their sketchy present. While the New York FBI was at Steve Bannon funder Miles Guo's fucking apartment, it caught fire spontaneously out of the motherfucking blue. 6 hours in, well, it just went woof.
It was weird. It was weird. It was weird.
Wow.
It was weird.
Wow.
It was weird. Yeah.
The New York FBI was there.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's so
Weird.
weird.
It's weird.
Also, Rudy Giuliani's in the news too. But
Yes, he is.
Holy shit, is he in the news?
We may as well just go there. We may as well just go there. We may as well just go there.
Rudy is in the middle of all this shit, man.
Yeah.
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Ukraine. He was over
Yeah.
in Ukraine. He's the one who was trying to psyop Zelensky for fucking for
Biden shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Political extortion, man.
Yeah.
Now,
All
the
I-
funny
And
thing is,
hey,
again, Rudy Giuliani, Mike Flynn, and the New York FBI, and the NYPD, fucking Bernie Carrick and Charles fucking Bratton, and all those people, they all know each other. It's all just
They're all friends.
It's all a big cover up at this point because they know what they did.
Mhm.
And now we do too, for fuck's sake.
Yeah,
Why
we
are
sure
doing something about
do.
it?
Yeah, we do. We do know. And it's like all hands on deck. Like they all seem like really desperate. Like they're all doing crazy stuff. Like they're posting like,
Okay.
you know.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm tired. No. Hold on. No. My turn. My turn.
Okay.
My fucking turn. All
I'm
right.
going on mute.
I have read horrible books in my life. I've read, Desaad. I read Bret Easton Ellis's American Psycho, and trust me, the book is far, far worse than the movie. And that court filing by that young lady against Mr. Giuliani,
Oh, yeah.
that was gut-wrenching.
Yeah.
I do not understand how anyone who calls themselves a Christian or a decent Republican who's into family values can read that and still want to be associated with any of that shit.
So it's been a few days since I read it, and my recommendation to anybody who reads it, it's like 70 or 75 page document, is to burn sage and be sure that you have like friends on speed dial, because you might be in a bit of trauma reading it. It's very it's as horrible as you would it's as horrible as you would expect, though, because these guys are gross and they've all been covering for each other's dirty secrets. It's mice. We talked about mice with Pekka. Money, ideology, compromat, ego. They're all gross. But I'm trying to find Rudy issued a statement today, finally, in response to the lawsuit. It was like the worst written statement I've ever read. And somebody on Ron Filipkowski's timeline, I'm trying to find it, said it would have been better if he just said, I only date my cousins.
Yeah, I mean,
the whole situation. I'm sorry. The whole situation. Okay, this to me is identical to Elon Musk, right? We know, everybody knows that Elon Musk paid $250,000 on a pony for a hand job, and yet people are still interviewing. People are still interviewing this man like he's some kind of fucking genius. No, he is not. He is a fucking problem. Anyone who hangs out with Rudy Giuliani or takes him seriously after this, I don't know what to fucking tell you.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well,
I'm good now.
No, I
so it is vile. It is, and we've talked a lot about the fact that sociopathy drives a lot of this. The desire to hurt other people for your own profit and pleasure, and having no moral problem with that.
Yeah.
There's no better document I've seen in showing what a fucking sociopath looks like.
Yeah.
All day long, and just abuses this person on a regular basis, overtly for power.
Right.
And it's really frightening. And you know, Mike Flynn was raising money for 9/11 with Rudy Giuliani.
Right.
For $911, you could go sit in a hotel ballroom and listen to traitors talk about 9/11.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the same group of anti-American chaos agents who should have been rounded up a long time ago.
That's why I was so, that's why I was so excited about the indictment for Erik Prince, because at least in Austria, they seem to be doing something about their Vatniks, you know. They actually will, you know, kick people out of office if they are actually working for the Russians. Here we've been pussyfooting around that for quite some time. But my concern, whenever I think something's actually going to give and we're going to start seeing some activity toward justice with people like Erik Prince, is every single time, cue up the puff piece, cue up the hour on television. And I joked, but it wasn't really a joke. It was literally like, oh, now that he's been indicted for trafficking arms, is he going to get his own town hall on CNN so he can reputation wash himself for an hour? And that is actually a genuine fear, because CNN is willing to put criminals on and give them an hour why wouldn't they do another, glorifying puff piece on Erik Prince, where he gets to aw shucks his way through what appears to be some really, bad stuff.
I mean, so we were talking about this earlier. Might as well bring it up here. So Erik Prince has his own propaganda operation, right? He's got people that do that shit for him.
Yeah, that's right.
One of those people used to work for Erik Prince at Chinese contractor Frontier Services Group. And that also happens to be the guy who wrote an infamously despicable puff piece about Ezra Cohen Vatnik, Chris Miller, and the aforementioned Kash Patel in Vanity Fair. It was a long puff piece about how they were fighting super hard to make sure everybody was safe, and it was just absolute trash. And it turns out this guy literally used to work for Erik Prince, and before he worked for Erik Prince, he wrote a different puff piece, not about Mike Flynn's buddies, but about Erik fucking Prince. And it was in 2009 called Tycoon Soldier Spy or some shit like that. And turns out this guy used to work in the CIA and got kicked out because he had ties to Mossad. All of that sounds crazy, and you can fucking look it up. Adam,
I know, right?
This is the name that is available to you.
My concern, again, coming from a media background, my concern, such as it is, where I've been documenting, like, I keep talking about this, what was going on a decade ago so we can understand what's happening now. And it's like, if you look at the media ecosystem leading up to the Trump presidency, during the Trump presidency, the immediate aftermath, you have to wonder what the fuck was going on at Vanity Fair. The fuck was going on there? And some of these places, all these people believed top 5 resistance counts, people were so hurt. The majority of people were so hurt after that 2016 debacle. And we reached out wherever we could to try to make alliances and figure out who, could help right this wrong that had occurred in our country. And the media was intentionally or negligently putting us in the wrong direction. And so here we are 7 years later, and it's still just kind of like this murk, and little shows like ours try to explain what's happening in real time. Well, CNN puts criminals on prime time. Yes, HiFi.
So, media organizations get infiltrated by bad actors, or their journalists get fed bad information by bad actors.
That's true too.
They work as stenographers for chaos agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
And eventually maybe somebody figures out. Vanity Fair did, what was it, like April to July? April they're pushing Louise. July they're saying this person is a disinformation agent. So they did do a quick turnaround. I will give them that. But by then, the damage is already done, right?
The damage was done. And the damage
you know why the damage was done? Can I make clear why the damage was done?
Please.
Because it generated what? The Durham investigation. Louise, and I'll say her fucking name, Louise Mensch, generated, along with some surprisingly familiar figures, a bunch of bullshit about pings going back and forth between Alpha Bank and Trump Tower and a Boston property. This is how the Russia, Trump, and Prince, and oh shit. turned out to be a bunch of nonsense, dreamt up with charts and graphs and data scientists who were just lying their butt off to confuse people and to generate false stories and false accusations. And those were then turned into the Durham investigation, which was what? Which was an investigation into the investigation of Russian interference into the 2016 election. Is the most classic example of Darvo you can possibly imagine. Now let me close one more loop. Louise Mensch, before summer of 2016, worked for Rupert Murdoch and worked with Steve Bannon on Brexit. Now, in summer 2016, she went to a meeting. And at the meeting were Milo Yiannopoulos and Erik fucking Prince. And from that day forward, Louise fucking Mensch became the most outrageous, outspoken, liberal hopium account imaginable, and sucked a bunch of people into her trap, including a bunch of journalists.
Yes, that's correct.
And then towards the end of 2017, someone died because of the stalking and the trolling and the operations that were being done by her and that crew. So there's a reason why I'm willing to say her name, because she's dangerous, and so is the entire group of people that took well-meaning people's desire to find out the truth and worked it to divide people. And that's more than shameful, it's criminal.
I just want to say what also I believe is criminal is it appears that Vanity Fair has wiped that article of the top 5 Twitter resistors, because it was very difficult for me to find it. And
the archives has everything. Don't worry, don't you?
I found it, but what I want to say is that if Vanity Fair feels that it made a miscalculation there, then they shouldn't just delete that article. They actually need to address it, because I believe it misled millions of people. And we are still dealing with the ravages of misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation today. HiFi, do you have another clip from Pekka that talks about how they inoculate people in Finland?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, but I do have something else that I found earlier that I want to share, because it's a video of Jackie and it makes me laugh every time I watch it. So I just need to share this with everyone else.
Okay. And then
I can only imagine that the Russians were falling over themselves with happiness when, Mike Flynn fell into their lap. I can't imagine how freaking happy they were.
Sorry. I just needed that little lighthearted good moment.
So
he became best friends with Igor Sergin. Okay, maybe not best friends, but he became friends with Igor Sergin, who ran the GRU, which subsequently, after they became friends, the GRU invaded Crimea without a fucking peep from Mike Flynn. Now here's the twist, though. There's always a twist with this bullshit.
Twist.
2 weeks after Mike Flynn visited Vladimir Putin in Moscow, Igor Sergin, at the ripe old age of 61, sudden hack. Oh shit! What could have possibly happened? Right at the beginning of Flynn's rampage across the United States of America. I don't know what happened, but the chance that Igor Sergin happened to have a heart attack at that moment is effectively zero.
it's very sad. What I want to say is,
I'm not sad for Igor Sergin.
So
that motherfucker invaded Crimea, committed atrocities.
I just, you know,
this is more about Mike Flynn's rampage.
Just trying to be sensitive to the
to
departed.
the family, I think we're good.
To the departed. I was looking up a Beverly Hills metals dealer today, somebody who dealt in precious metals. He too was an oligarch from Russia. He too died at the untimely age of 54. And it's like, you know, wow, it's that's a drag. But what I do want to say is that when we interviewed Pekka, I asked him, Finland seems to have a grip on dealing with disinformation and Russian propaganda, as do other countries. We talk a lot about Sweden, Estonia, and Denmark. And Pekka said that they start teaching children about disinformation in preschool. They have, you know, coursework on it. They teach children how to understand when something's a lie, what the dangers of lying are. So kids at that young age can absorb everything. And so they are already inoculated to the kind of gaslighting that is destroying America by the aforementioned people that we have been discussing today.
Can I mention one thing about the aforementioned people and kids? Both Mike Flynn and Kash Patel have written children's books.
Oh, God.
Mike Flynn's is called Attack of the Snow Monster. I'm not kidding. And it's about leadership in a time of great peril. Kash Patel wrote a book about Donald Trump that, you know, effectively equates him with Jesus. And these are sold. Like, according to a recent interview with Sean Hannity, Kash Patel's kids' book was #1 at some point.
Oh,
just like the J6 prisoners singing the Star Spangled Banner with Donald Trump was the #1 fucking song on iTunes. Because we allow this shit, because we just allow people to run around with doing fascism.
Yeah.
There used to be a problem when people did that. There used to be a problem when people did shit for the other side, blatantly. When another country was attacking one of our allies, used to be a problem to side with that country, the aggressor, much less if that country is attacking us with propaganda and psyops and infiltration all over the fucking place, right? So it seems like there's a lot of perspective we need to have around here.
Yeah.
About the scale and you know, emergency that this is.
It is an emergency. And the one thing I will say is that at least the people on Tuesday rebuked fascism in Florida, Colorado, Pennsylvania. So what they are offering is not popular to the sane majority. And so that is very, very encouraging. Ron DeSantis, who's been trying to outflank Trump to the right for the last year or so, you know, not popular. Like you said, Jim, on your tweet today, you know, all those woke jobs that Florida's not going to get because Disney is playing hardball. And they are not going to be building something that was going to create lots and lots of very important jobs.
I mean, they were going to move Imagineering, which is the heartbeat of Disney. If you know anything about Disney, that's where all the shit comes from. That's where their patents and crazy new ideas come out of there. That's where it fucking comes from. And they were going to move all of that to Florida. And Ron DeSantis said that Disney was woke and fucked them up in a whole bunch of different ways and trashed them and, harassed their employees. And even Disney was like, all right, yeah, fuck you, Ron. And yeah, so I tweeted, yeah, all those woke jobs, Florida, good thing they didn't come.
Well,
Imagineers get paid a fuck ton of money.
yeah, I bet. So every time he does one of these moves, because he just, passed another law where transgender children can be taken from their parents, and every time he does all these gross things, I just keep thinking, I'm so grateful that he's never going to be the president of America. I can say that with great
move to that? Who wants to move that to that?
No. And they're going to lose people. There's people who love the state of Florida and love living there, who are leaving Florida because they do not want to be around that. And yes, HiFi. You're pointing to HiFi.
Uh-huh. He rarely.
Oh, I didn't see it.
I just wanted to mention to everyone that today we had a very interesting.
Oh, hi. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
What happened?
Well done. That one was well executed.
Oh.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
It just gets weirder, folks.
Yeah.
And fucking weirder.
No. You mean Peter Thiel was getting dirt from Jeffrey Epstein? No fucking way. That's so funny, though.
Well, wasn't it Musk who was just subpoenaed? Musk, but it's important for people to follow along. Musk was subpoenaed by the U.S. Virgin Islands for documents related to their Epstein investigation, and so.
I think people need to realize that the PayPal mafia is not a fucking joke. They're serious.
Yeah.
Well, when HiFi just lays it down and then.
Ohio, man, this is how we roll.
I mean, the reason why he gets wrapped into so many conspiracies, especially aimed at the Clintons, is because so many people are implicated in his bullshit. And too bad about that whole thing where he killed himself and all the cameras weren't on, and everyone was asleep. And
Jeffrey Epstein, Wow.
And it's a really bad thing that Jean-Luc Brunel, who was accused of smuggling models in as basically sex slaves, young women who were raped, trafficked, he ended up hung in his cell in France. And John McAfee, who ended up dead.
It's so macabre. That's enough. That's just enough. It's so macabre. What's distressing?
I just wonder when people are gonna fucking start getting it.
I don't know, HiFi. That is what we're trying to break through. That's why we try to do this work. But one thing is that it's distressing to me when I just see another, we're just going to do another multi-million-dollar settlement. So it's just like another settlement, it's like, when do the victims of all of this actually get justice? I'm sorry, but just another.
I'll take who is Deutsche Bank for $75 million, Alex.
That's what I'm talking about. It's just kind of like, but we've patched those vulnerabilities now. We'll just put another CEO in charge. It's like, no, it's just, it's enough. And so, but I do think we are seeing, as you pointed out today in myriad threads, and, when we talk about the activity at the boss level, there are things that are occurring that it seems to be that we're not just completely without hope.
Well, I think that maybe the thing that's most interesting to me is the activity around the actual New York FBI.
Yeah.
Right? Charles McGonigal, like, actually indicting that guy.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
Big fucking deal.
Yeah.
Even though it took 7 years. And then there was another guy who was arrested at the Capitol on the front line, or identified as being on the front line.
Yeah.
Who was trained by Erik Prince.
Yeah.
And worked at the New York FBI.
Yeah. Yes.
Until 2018.
Yeah.
Until
Jared Wise, right? Jared Wise.
Yeah, Jared Wise.
Yeah, Jared Wise.
So 2 New York FBI officials during the 2016 election were arrested for being Russian spies.
That's have,
cool. And that whole, you know, but it's okay. I'm sure the spontaneous fire in Miles Guo's apartment building was not a problem because it's all clean now. It's all fixed. They got all the bad guys now, right?
I don't know. I would really like to see some congressional insurrectionists out of office. I'd really like to see anybody who didn't vote to certify our 2020 election or voted against certification. They should not. They're not fit for purpose. What are we doing? And
concrete thing we could do that isn't being done that maybe people would yell about more is some Senate hearings.
Yeah.
We can't have congressional hearings because the fucking idiots are all running around LARPing with Marjorie or whatever over there. Who cares? The grown-ups, the people who are supposed to be the fucking grown-ups on the other side, have every right to be running all sorts of investigations. I don't see shit.
Yeah.
So I want to see an actual Jan 6 investigation.
Yeah.
I want to see all these Kremlin assets that are running around doing Kremlin shit every damn day. Why can't we have a Kremlin asset hearing or something?
A Vatnik soup hearing.
Seriously.
Back to Vatnik soup and back to the Vatniks and back to Twitter being on that list.
Tell your senators that we want hearings.
We do.
I'm trying to create an action item.
Okay. So and
tell
then
your senators we need hearings. We need to counter the bullshit they have going on. They're running the Twitter files in Congress. They're literally running the Twitter files in Congress. Do you understand that? And so we need grown-ups theoretically to be countering that bullshit. Thank you.
So
Chuck Schumer needs to retire.
So one quick thing, HiFi. So if we do have some Senate hearings, drag Elon Musk in front of the Senate rather than putting him on prime time, and ask him why he allowed all the trolls and bot activity back onto the platform. Because I wrote last year that Twitter would become a Russian propaganda outlet, much like VKontakte, and that's exactly what it appears to be. But as Pekka from Vatnik Soup said, he's let them all back on. So all you have to do, don't believe me, okay? Go to Greg Abbott's timeline. Greg Abbott will tweet something grotesque, and then look at all the blue check on his thread, which write really nice things about whatever grotesquerie he's tweeted. And note, they get no interaction. They're using the same kind of minimal verbiage, minimalist verbiage. That no interaction. You can't interact with them. It's like a computer. It's like all done computerized probably. But you'll just see one. You'll see one blue. A lot of its chat bots are done.
Not really.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, I talked to Wes Clark about this. He told me how it's
well,
done. All right. All right.
I just wanted to be clear. There are plenty of automated bots,
Yes.
but right now on Twitter, it's pretty clear what are automated and what are run by people.
Right.
Now, the problem is when you say
Right.
bot,
Yeah.
it sounds like you're talking about some magical technological wizardry,
That's not what I'm talking
and
about.
I understand, but that's what a lot of these people are trying to sell you, is that these are automatically generated bots, and the
Right.
problem is human beings, not
Right. Right.
computers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's right. So these human beings that are creating an illusion to fake up popularity from very unpopular people continues to be our war. And unfortunately, this type of gaslighting has an impact, whether it's creating despair because people start to think that everyone's despicable, because who's going to like something ugly that Greg Abbott is tweeting? And if people don't know who Greg Abbott is, he is the governor of a state which does not acknowledge that Joe Biden is our official president. Like, why I even have to say things like that is like insane.
It's amazing, right? I mean,
It's
he and
insane.
DeSantis are like two LARPers who, on 8chan trying to out like gross each other, right? If anybody's ever been to one of those places, you just see them like using the worst possible words and saying the worst stuff that they could possibly say in an effort to outdo the other one to be the most sociopathic. It's like we have two governors doing that shit, and then Elon Musk is out here egging them on all day long, right?
Right.
Like, oh, fight! That
And
it's
then you
literally
have
what
the
it is.
blue
We set up
checks.
this arena for these morons to run around and HiFi.
HiFi. You go HiFi. Go HiFi.
All right, so this is where I'm going to drop a little esoteric shit, right? Because what we are actually witnessing, what we are witnessing in the media in real time is a redefinition of something known as external controls. Now, in a cybernetic system, there's a whole bunch of different fields of study, but one of them is control systems, and they formulate that inside of a human being. There is an internal control mechanism, like what you have in your head, right? And there are external control mechanisms, like what is the norm behavior of the people around you, right? And if people see these leaders of culture and society and politics acting like fucking baboons and like, thumping their chests and hollering at each other, well, then they're going to believe that it's okay for them to act like that. And then once they start acting like that, other people start acting like that. It builds a chain reaction. Next thing you know, you have mass shooters and violence in the streets. And today in Akron, Ohio, on 76 East and 21 South, a 40-year-old man who is a husband was shot to death because of a road rage incident.
Oh my God, I'm so
That's
sorry.
what you get.
Yeah.
So
yeah, sorry about that.
It is what it is, man. This is the life that we are being fed.
Yeah.
And until we take it back, we're fucked.
Yeah.
So,
well, we are taking it back, though. That's the whole thing. People are taking it back.
Little bit by little
bit. People are taking it back. The recent mayoral races where, the GOP was crushed, those are big deals. I think we keep on giving too much power to them. And maybe it's because, we keep seeing clips of Marjorie Taylor Greene promoting her propaganda. She's a professional gaslighter, a professional propagandist. She is on the Vatnik soup list. Lauren Boebert is on the Vatnik soup list. We have to have a different framework for them. And when I say we, I mean myself too. It's easy to fall into despair when these grotesque chaos agents are continually given platforms to promote their cruelty and their indecency and their propaganda.
Why are they even there? They're fucking insurrectionists.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, they're insurrectionists in the place that they tried to insurrect.
Yeah,
with coordinates. With coordinates.
It's a mass self-delirium. I just want to say, HiFi, whatever the new weed is you're smoking, it does you good, because that last story was really good. It was coherent. It had a beginning, middle, and end. You landed the plane perfectly.
He was in the zone. He was right in the zone.
So whatever that new shit is, I like it.
Marshmallow OG.
Sounds like my last date.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
All right. I just gotta it's 5 after. I'm gonna end this, but here's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
If we continue to and Marjorie Taylor Greene knows she's an insurrectionist. She begged for a pardon.
Yeah. We can't forget that.
I mean, she knows.
Right.
Matt Gaetz, same thing. All these motherfuckers.
That's
anyway,
right.
If we don't stop them, then the film that John made with our friend Zarina in there, and it's just going to get fucking worse, and it's going to spread. So if you want to stop it, you have to stop them here now.
Word. Great.
For a long time, Vladimir Putin has been waging war on Europe. His invasion of Ukraine is just one part of that wider war. Armored cars and tanks and guns are sent to Ukraine. But he deploys more insidious weapons too.
Only military facilities are being destroyed.
Every day the Russian propaganda machine goes into overdrive to deny its crimes, to rewrite history as it's taking place. To find out the truth, you have to get to the source, right to the front line.
Let's go.
То, что им, наверное, надо знать, вы им донесете, вы им покажете, что здесь творится.
Ну, они запугивают. Стреляться.
This was somebody's home.
Це місце це і було. А в Херсоне.
Пусть бы они уже шли к себе домой, да не трогали нас.
Genocide.
It's genocide. Be fucking careful there.
Well, this is our land. We're defending it.